Stephen Olshansky's Winter Ordeal. He wasn't a rookie. He'd walked America's long trails for years, famous for stubborn miles and a mischievous grin. But in the winter of 2015 to 2016, he chose the Continental Divide the way he liked it. Empty, silent, and unforgiving. No detailed map, no satellite beacon, minimal cold weather gear. He trusted instinct and experience. Then the storm hit. Snow came fast and heavy, erasing trail and landmarks. Wind drove the chill through layers, and every step cost heat and calories he didn't have. He found a primitive campground, the kind with a wooden outhouse and little else. Shelter from the wind, but not from the cold that kept draining his core. Days blur when you're freezing. Frost-nipped fingers make zippers impossible. Melted snow doesn't replace electrolytes. Hunger becomes a slow metronome. Muscles shiver until they can't. Thought narrows. The body starts making bad promises. Just sit, just rest, just close your eyes. That's hypothermia's last trick. Warmth that isn't real. Rescuers would later find him there, not far from help by summer standards, but winter turns distance into a wall. The through hiking community mourned a legend who'd made strangers feel like friends at every trailhead and hostel. What killed him wasn't the trail itself. It was exposure. A prolonged snowstorm pinned him down, and without proper winter gear, navigation, or communication, hypothermia, dehydration, and exhaustion stacked up until his body shut down. Amy Adamson's Bear Attack. She loved quiet dawn miles, the kind where the trail is just a ribbon through lodgepole pines and you can hear your own breath. West of Yellowstone, she stepped onto the Buttermilk Trail alone, a place where elk tracks stitch the dust and grizzlies move like weather. The bend came fast, so did the bear. A sow with at least one cub, close, surprised, and instantly defensive. In grizzly math, a lone human at short range is a threat to neutralize now, not negotiate later. The charge wasn't a bluff. Impact, claws rake, teeth clamp. Instinct says, get big, protect your neck. But there isn't time for strategy when 700 pounds hits like a truck. Maulings are mechanical. Broad paws deliver blunt force trauma. Claws open long, deep lacerations. Jaws crush where they grip, often the head, neck, on shoulders. Blood volume drops in minutes. Pain is loud, then strangely distant as shock takes the wheel. On a remote trail with no immediate aid, minutes become the whole story. Rangers would piece it together later. Defensive encounter, not predation. The bear was tracked and euthanized. The lesson was grim and familiar. Surprise is the enemy in grizzly country. What killed her wasn't the place. It was the biology of a defensive mother grizzly in a close-range surprise. Cause of death, massive, blunt, and sharp force trauma from a grizzly mauling leading to rapid blood loss and traumatic hypovolemic shock. Manaslu Avalanche Burial. High on the mountain before dawn, Camp 3 is a scatter of tents perched on crusted snow. Wind hisses, stoves click, headlamps blink. Then the sound no climber mistakes. Deep, rolling, like thunder under your feet. A serac above lets go. Gravity writes the rest. The avalanche hits in seconds. Air blast first, then a freight train of snow, ice blocks, and broken cornice. Tents rip free. People are tumbled, pinned, buried. If you're lucky, you end up near the surface. If not, the snow sets like wet concrete around your chest and face. Arms won't move. Breathing turns to sipping. Darkness tightens. At nearly 6,800 meters, oxygen is already scarce. Under snow, it disappears faster. As minutes pass, carbon dioxide builds. Lungs fight against a vise of packed snow. Some suffer blunt trauma, ribs cracked by ice blocks, head wounds from tent poles and gear. Others never take another breath once the flow stops. Survivors claw upward with gloves and crampons. Sherpa teams climb from lower camps in the gray morning, calling names, probing, digging. Helicopters thump later, but altitude and weather make rescues surgical and slow. When the counts settle, at least 9 climbers are gone. Dozens injured. The mountain is quiet again, and camp is a torn, white scar. It wasn't just a storm, it was physics and timing. Mount Rainier roped party fall. Pre-dawn on the Emmons Glacier, a 4-person team starts down after the summit. The rope is their lifeline, 10 meters of trust between each climber. Then the slip. One boot skates on hard ice, the arrest isn't clean, and momentum whips the line. 2 are yanked into a crevasse, the others are dragged, battered, barely holding purchase. In the cold blue light, injuries stack fast. Head knocks through helmets, wrenched spines, deep bruising. Breathing fogs the air as the team stabilizes who they can and radios for help. Rangers and helicopter crews push into thin air and yawning terrain, probing snow bridges, packaging patients, planning short-haul lifts. It's a high-risk ballet on steep, slick angles. Then another disaster. While assisting a litter transfer near the Emmons shoulder, climbing ranger Nick Hall loses footing on the icy ridge and falls thousands of feet down the Winthrop side. The mountain goes silent in that instant. The rescue continues forward because it has to. The injured climbers are evacuated. Hall does not come home. This incident had 1 fatality, and it wasn't the roped party. Cause of death, catastrophic blunt force trauma from an unarrested fall during high-angle rescue on steep, icy terrain. Contributing factors, exposure, altitude, variable winds, and the inherent complexity of helicopter-supported glacier rescue. Austin Howell's second fall. He wasn't chasing fame, he was chasing flow. Chalky hands, quiet breath, a moving meditation on stone. Years earlier, a roped fall in Yosemite shattered that rhythm. Skull and vertebrae fractures, an induced coma that lasted more than a week. He rebuilt himself, one cautious pull-up at a time, then returned to what he loved most. Clean rock, no rope, total focus. Summer 2019, Linville Gorge, North Carolina. Granite walls rise above the trees, heat radiates off the face. Free soloing is simple math, no gear between you and gravity. Halfway up, the equation changes. Maybe a fingertip smear skates, maybe a foothold crystals out. On a slab this steep, one mistake is momentum, and momentum doesn't bargain. The fall is fast and final. Rock ledges turn velocity into violence. By the time rescuers fight through brush and cliffs, there's no rescue to make, only recovery. The climbing community grieves a voice who spoke honestly about fear, risk, and joy, who knew both the price and the payoff of moving unroped. This wasn't a mystery, it was mechanics. Primary cause of death, catastrophic blunt force trauma from a high-energy ground fall while free solo climbing. Fatal injuries to head, chest, and spine, occurring within moments of impact. Japanese winter training catastrophe. A winter training march ordered to prove readiness. 210 soldiers step out from Aomori into a world already icing over. The plan is simple on paper. Traverse the Hakoda Range, reach the far side, return stronger. But they carry peacetime assumptions. Thin layers, limited rations, no seasoned mountain guide, and a weather report that reads like wishful thinking. By midday, the storm detonates. Wind turns snow into shrapnel. Visibility collapses to arm's length. Landmarks disappear. Compasses and judgment drift. The column stretches, then frays. Men circle in whiteout, building shallow pits, clutching rifles for structure. Burning precious fuel to melt snow that yields almost no water or warmth. Boots soak, gloves freeze, calories vanish. Hypothermia is quiet murder. First it steals dexterity, then reasoning. Shivering fades, not because you're warm, but because the muscles are out of gas. Speech slurs, choices get slower, then wrong. Frostbite blooms on exposed skin and inside wet boots. Tissue freezes, blood vessels clamp shut, dead weight at the ends of living bodies. Through the night and into the next day, the storm keeps its grip. Rescuers follow scattered gear and footprints that simply stop. Survivors are few, many carried out only to lose hands and feet to gangrene. The final count is catastrophic. A regiment becomes a cautionary tale taught for generations. What killed them wasn't the route. It was exposure amplified by logistics. Death Valley, German family. They come for salt flats and mirages, the postcard version of the hottest place in North America. A rental minivan, a tourist map light on warnings, a summer sky already boiling. Pavement becomes washboard, then a faint track threading badlands and dry canyons. Somewhere past the signs and common sense, the sand deepens. The van bottoms out, tires dig, a hot engine ticks into silence. No cell service, no shade. They inventory what they have. A little food, not enough water. Miles of shimmering air in every direction. On paper, a route toward a distant spring looks possible. On foot, in 120-degree heat, it's a gamble that gets worse with every step. Heat strips moisture from lungs and skin. Sweat can't keep up. Salt crust slips. Thoughts slow. Muscles cramp. The brain starts making mistakes. By afternoon, the sun becomes a hammer. Shade is a thin line under a creosote bush. Then nothing. One by one, the signs of heat stroke arrive. Skin going dry, stumbling speech, confusion, collapse. Out here, minutes are decisive and help is not coming. Rangers find the minivan weeks later, abandoned, dug in. Years pass before searchers discover partial remains far from the road. Proof of a last desperate walk. This wasn't a mystery. It was physics and physiology. If you enjoyed this animation, please subscribe for more and support my small channel. Share your ideas for the next video in the comments.